right, everyone. I'm very excited about this. Do you know why?
Why?
Because this is a follow-up from last week. Or not last week, 2 weeks ago.
Last episode.
Well, Bethany, we are in a new month, which means that my first low buy month is over.
That's right.
That's right. So I want to talk about what happened to my brain in February. And I wrote everything down, so don't worry.
Okay.
I wrote it all down. I wrote it in my notebook.
We had a lot of people reach out and say that they're either going to do a no buy or they're in the process of doing a no buy.
Yeah, I was shocked and I was like excited that people were excited about it.
Yeah, the response has been awesome.
The response has been amazing, and I've learned so much, and I've retrained my brain, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear about it.
But first, what has it done for our relationship from your perspective?
It has given me personally such a sense of peace because
Great. Oh, that's awesome.
Because you are so much less stressed about money.
Yes.
I have never
Way
seen
less
you
stressed, yeah.
this peaceful and calm about money.
Yeah.
And it also gives me a sense of peace because I don't see you impulse buying things that I know you're not going to need or use.
Oh yeah, we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that.
Because that used to happen. I would see you
Yep.
buy something and I was like, I know he's not going to wear that.
Yep.
But it's not my place to say because A, we don't share finances, and B, you can't tell someone you need to change something if you know that it's like a deeply ingrained, response. And I knew you were going to figure it out.
You and I have this sort of unspoken rule, which I'll now speak out loud.
Yeah.
Is that you and I don't force anything on the other person.
Yep. It's not going to work.
So I never forced decluttering on you.
Nope.
I've never forced anything. I've never forced anything that I'm learning on you.
Nope.
Until you've come to me and said, I need advice. I see that something is working for you.
Yep.
How do I do that?
How do I crib that?
Right. How do I do that?
Is that the right use of the word crib?
Who knows?
I'm going to crib that.
You want to look it up?
Nope.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure I'm right.
Okay. I'm sure you are too.
Continue.
Okay, so I want to go over what happened this month.
Okay.
I'm very excited though. I'm glad that you've seen much less stress.
Massive.
I'm much less stressed, less manic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of less that's happened.
Totally.
So the two major things, my desire to buy things has decreased, but my desire to save and invest has increased.
Amazing.
So where I've been reassessing is, okay, so I'm saving this X amount of dollars from my phone bill. So I can invest that or save it and not have to put it away, and not have to put it towards the phone bill.
Yeah. How much are you saving on your phone bill, by the way? This is not an ad.
Over $1,700 a year.
Yeah.
So I was spending $145 a month on it or something. It was insane. And now I spend $15 a month.
I gotta say, this is not an ad for Mint Mobile.
No, it's great. Everyone
it's great.
Look, everyone do Mint Mobile. We've been using it. We've had no issues. We've had no dropouts. In fact, my service was better than it was from Verizon.
I think it's $30 a month.
Yep. If you just pay off your phone, it'll be cheaper if you just pay off your phone, own your phone, never upgrade, and just go to Mint Mobile.
It's stupid not to.
That alone, and they have family plans.
Yeah.
So if you have a family, it'll be even cheaper.
Yeah.
So
you know what? This is an excuse to find a family.
Just look. We have our lovely Amy. She just had a baby. Go have a baby.
Get that baby a cell phone. Get that baby on your family plan.
All right. Here we go. Shopping was a hobby and a de-stressor for me.
Yeah.
And what I was trying to relieve was the stress of feeling broke.
I hate being an alcoholic. I'm going to drink about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy, though? I started to realize because I would get really stressed when I'd see... And now, I want to put everything into perspective for everyone listening. It's not like I was spending hundreds of thousands of...
No.
We don't have that kind of money.
You weren't buying TVs and cars.
No, but I would see something on Amazon and I would immediately get it.
Yeah.
I would be like, hey, Bethany, it's Saturday. Let's go to the mall. Let's go to Goodwill.
You'd see something in a movie and you'd be like, I like that prop. I'm going to go get it. Yeah.
Exactly. But just because you're saving money on something, you're still spending it.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, we would go and thrift, but we were still spending that money.
Yeah.
I was still spending that money. And so like, I was like, oh my God, it was my de-stressor.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I need to break that habit. So it's totally broken. And it was such a huge revelation that I was using it as therapy. But the thing that I was using the therapy for bit me in the
Totally.
Yeah, it was it was like the snake was eating itself.
Totally.
Yeah.
It is not to like, but I'm going to identify with it a little bit.
Relate. Yeah.
Yeah. Is anyone who's had like binge eating disorder.
Yes.
Which, I was and am recovering from multiple different types of eating disorders.
Yep.
I was very eclectic when it came to eating disorders.
Yep.
But one of them,
a Renaissance.
I really
woman.
was.
Yeah.
I was thinking. But one of them was binging, and you binge because you feel out of control and you're mad at yourself for having binged before. And so to make yourself feel better, you binge.
You binge. Yeah.
It's
like
just that whole thing.
It's like a learned behavior. It's like, okay, so this is how I de-stress now.
Totally.
And now I'm more interested in, wait, how can I save money and invest it? So it's like, it's changed now to a healthier addiction, I think. But we'll get to that later too.
Okay.
We'll get to like the balancing act that I'm starting to understand.
Okay.
Okay, so I have more focus and can concentrate more on just one thing at a time.
Wait, really?
Yes.
What?
Have you noticed a difference?
I mean, I don't see you working,
Okay.
but you seem all around calmer.
Yes. And number one, it's because it's like when I quit cocaine and when I quit drinking and when I quit smoking cigarettes, you sort of have your aha moment.
Yeah.
And then you forget like, oh, I can't believe I lived like that before. But you also like open up a world in front of you because it's like, whoa, clarity.
Yeah.
Oh my God, mental clarity. Oh, my lungs don't hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, I can run. Oh, my health is better.
Yeah.
So I've started to realize that I'm a bit more focused. It's not like fully, but I'm way more, hey, I can focus on one thing at a time now and not have to like do a bunch of things at once.
That's amazing.
Like for example, today with the car, when I was washing bubbles,
yeah,
I was like, I'm going to vacuum and then I'm going to wash it. And instead of like pulling out the hose and the vacuum going at the same time and trying to do both at once.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the way my brain was.
Very busy.
And I don't know if that was an effect of like this, but I just feel different.
I wonder if it was an effect of, because you were constantly giving in to the little impulses you had, it just kept your brain kind of constantly flitting from thing to thing.
Yeah.
And since you've deprived, quote unquote, your brain of all of its, wants, instant wants, your brain is starting to slow down a little bit and not flitting everywhere.
So that's where my other theory came in. I've been practicing delayed gratification, and I'll get into it later, but delayed gratification has now killed instant gratification, and instant gratification has been sort of linked to I have to do everything at once and quickly.
Yes. Okay. Wow. This is crazy.
Isn't it crazy? And these are all just stuff these are things I'm just writing down as they happen because I'm like, wow, I love this.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, I love saving money and finding out like how much more I can invest a week or in a month. And I love, like, I've made it sort of a game, and I love figuring out where I can cut spending because you can always cut spending.
Totally.
You can always like cut back without like destroying your life,
and it's amazing.
Or depleting your life.
Yeah.
You know?
And the things you thought you couldn't live without.
Yes.
You were like, I don't really miss that.
Oh, that's coming too.
Yeah.
That's coming too. So that was an amazing thing.
Yeah.
That was like, whoa, I've made it sort of a game, and I really enjoy just sort of doing it.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's really fun.
It's like hoarding, but fun.
It's a different kind of addiction.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this was a huge one that I think everyone can do. And I think this is, if you want to start small on like a no-buy, start with this. Add items to lists in Amazon. So I have like my birthday list and my equipment list and this list and that list. So what I've started to do is when I have an impulse to like look for something, because you can't shut it down. It's a process.
Yeah.
I'll go, but instead of immediately adding it to my cart, I add it to a list.
Great.
All right. Now, the next day or in a few hours, I've already forgotten it. I've gone back. So the other night I went back to my lists.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the is this? And I just deleted it because I was like, why did I put that on my list?
That's great. And it's also like, it's nice because you get to tell your brain, you don't have to worry about it. I know where it is.
Yes.
I've put a pin in it.
It's there.
It's there. Don't worry about it.
Don't
brain.
worry about it.
Yeah.
But I was like, there was a belt for some reason. I was like, what is this belt? Like, I don't even remember the reasoning of wanting to put that in a list.
Yeah.
And then I was like looking at the equipment list is, it's stuff that I eventually do want to get, but
Totally.
I don't need it. Like we have everything we need here in terms of filming stuff at our level.
Clearly.
So that's a really good exercise for everyone. Use your lists, put your shopping lists, don't add it to your cart, don't save it in your cart for later, put it there and see if you even remember it in a few hours. Because the difference is I would buy it and then forget about it.
And then it would show up and you're
and
like,
it would show up and be like, oh, right, I got that thing.
And also the things that then you really do want that mean a lot to you, you'll remember them.
Exactly.
Because there's this shirt that I really want that I have on a wish list.
Yeah.
And I have like 7 shirts on that wish list, but I only remember one.
You only remember one.
And it's this one tank that I really, really want.
Yep.
It's just sitting there. I think about it every day.
Yep. You should get it for yourself at some
I'll
point.
get it eventually.
Yeah. Okay, so use your Amazon list. It's great. Okay, so another thing that I realized too is not reaching a goal is okay because you're still working towards it. So
Sure.
I was really upset with myself last month because I did have to make a business purchase.
Yeah.
And thank God we did because we would not have been able to do the video without the new camera.
Yeah, no, it was a definite, you needed to.
It was a need in
Your
this case.
camera was old.
Yeah, it was a need in this case.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean I'm still, just because that happened, it doesn't mean that I'm still not working towards this goal because this month, March, I'm like, great, I've learned, now that I've learned from last month, I can bring that now into this month.
Yeah.
And see how I can improve on it more. And the thing is, this is where I've given myself a bit of leniency, which I was talking about earlier, is that I am going to incur business expenses.
Totally.
I just had a camera. The 2 cameras that have made me the most money in my whole life are 2 Nikon D750s. They're prosumer cameras. They're not even like considered professional grade, but the way I shoot, it looks professional grade.
Yeah.
And so they've made me the most money out of any 2 pieces of equipment. One of them, the autofocus, out of nowhere, failed. And I was like, what the are you serious? So I had to send it into Nikon. I'm going to get hit with a bill.
Yeah.
And thank God I have insurance because I was able to, finally, after years, I was finally able to afford insurance.
Oh, man.
So now I have insurance. I put in a claim.
Yep.
That would, hopefully it'll get covered.
Yeah.
And, but I decided to say, look, that is going to happen.
Totally.
Where you can cut back is Amazon, eBay, Blu-rays, DVDs, things like trips to Goodwill, things like that.
Yeah.
As long as you're cutting back on that, you're going to have the money for these weird little expenses that are going to happen because you have equipment that breaks.
Every time you're like, I'm good, I don't need to get anything, something's going to happen.
Something will happen every month.
What are you going to do?
Every month.
Yep.
And I feel more prepared and less stressed about it. It sucks because I'm like, man, I had a plan for that X amount of dollars that I got to spend on the repair.
You know what God does when you make plans?
He laughs.
I feel like I said it wrong, but that's right. He laughs at you.
But what does Jesus do?
Cries.
What about Buddha?
Carries you.
You think they're all hanging out?
Yeah.
Laughing
at you.
They're all just hanging out laughing.
Look at Dennis.
Yeah, look at this idiot.
And they're all laughing because he made a plan.
And so the last thing that I want to talk about, a lot of people who are listening may know about a movement called FIRE, which is Financial Independence Retire Early. And these are like people who retired in their 30s.
Okay.
That's not my plan. This is not what I want to do. First of all, I'm 47, so I'm way
late.
past FIRE.
Yeah.
And that is like sort of culty and weird. And I applaud anyone who did it. It's not what I'm going for. I realize what my goal is, and I've shared this goal with you, but now I'm going to share it with everyone. And set your own goals in this.
Totally.
I do want financial independence, but it's to continue to do what we're doing without worrying about money.
Yeah.
It's so you don't have to have 2 part-time jobs, and that I don't have to get another. I'm going to have to get another part-time job too.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to worry about that stuff anymore. I want us to be taken care of. I want us to have enough money to continue to create this podcast, to continue to create music videos for people, to continue create films, anything.
Yeah.
And I want to do it without the worry and the burden of what most artists who are working artists worry about, which is when's my next meal coming?
Yeah.
When's my next paycheck coming? If we can achieve financial independence and do these things while still living modestly per year, that's all I want. Because I don't want to retire. There are days
You would lose your mind.
I would lose my mind. There are days when I'll just have nothing to do because that's the nature of our business. It's like some days you just don't have work.
Yeah.
And I'll be sitting on the couch and I'm like, if this is retirement, it sucks.
Because by the end of the day, you're sad.
That's what happened with people in the FIRE movement.
Yeah.
They ended up being like, well, now what do I do?
Now I'm just depressed.
Yeah.
If I have a day where I just sit, I am sad by the end of it.
So what did they do? They became creators. They started a YouTube channel. They started editing. They started doing, and that's the thing is that's what I've always been working for is being a financially independent artist.
Yeah.
So I can continue to do what I'm doing because people, it's interesting, but society doesn't see what we do as a job.
Right.
It's this thing that you do. But look, I have a toolbox filled with tools that I use to make things for people, and so I do have value.
Totally.
And it's interesting that like society sometimes is like, well, that's not a real job.
Yeah.
But it is. And I want to continue to do it because I've had awful jobs.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go back to awful jobs.
Same. Totally.
And that's not being privileged. That's working towards something.
Yeah.
And everyone can do it. And I've done catering and I've done office jobs and I've done this and I've done that. And I've been miserable at all of those. And the only time I'm truly happy is when I am making stuff for people or with people or for people or for myself. And that's what I want to continue to do.
I'm so proud of you.